Hello, what's up, everybody? I am Crystal Curry. How's it going? Did you enjoy the two-part Elevate Leadership series? It was amazing. I certainly got something from it, and I hope you did too. So it's not just machines learning these days. We humans are still trying to figure things out too, right? So it's nice to have a refresher to sharpen our skills and remind ourselves of our humanness and integrating those aspects into our work and life. Well, we are only two more episodes before I take a break for summer. And it's actually not a break, as I will be working to get my Elevate book out. I am finalizing everything with that and will be working feverishly to get that completed. But I'm doing a live at the end of the month. Remember that, May 29th. So bring your questions and engage with me. Well, today I'm back to technology topics. I am talking tech about legislation called the Genius Act, data centers, and I'm giving an update on the Circle progress with smart contracts. Do you remember the AI series where I discussed some of the top growth areas? As a part of that, I provided some insights into the large amounts of data that these LLM models and learning processes require. Well, that is leading to an expansion of technology infrastructure projects in data centers. I am hearing of data center construction efforts in strategic areas like Chicago, Northern Virginia, Dallas Fort Worth Complex, Phoenix, and Columbus. And what they're trying to do is have the data centers interconnected via fiber networks. This is a cool idea because it reduces latency and it reduces the number of hops, what we call hops, required to access the closest data center that's serving up the data that you need for your applications, for instance. This allows faster, more reliable, and better performance. All right, if you remember, these data centers are also taxing the electrical grid. Though they are not the only culprit to the electrical grid system consumption overages, they are a huge contributor to it. My guest, Mr. Morale, and his company are heavily involved in helping companies to solve for that issue. It appears that we could also learn some lessons from DeepSeek about the re-engineering, which saves spend on GPU processing for AI models. They have shown the world how to squeeze out more performance from NVIDIA's chip by tinkering with how it worked. For example, instead of activating the entire LLM model, it specializes and picks up only the job at hand. I myself suggested a software solution that involves integrating APIs into the application backend design to call, for instance, a central LLM model where you don't need to store all that data internally. You can just essentially build several AI applications using this method and a cloud-based architecture design, which would also save on GPU. And the APIs themselves are built to enable specialized functions by calling or accessing specific portions of the LLM model. Only mine is more of a software engineering solution versus engineering solution of the chip itself. It allows you to access the LLM models. Okay, so we know that OpenAI, you may have seen my post on LinkedIn about OpenAI. OpenAI is going to have to move to a for-profit revenue model soon in order to fully capitalize off of their latest seed funding round led by SoftBank. That was a $40 billion investment. Well, my suggestion is an opportunity for OpenAI to augment whatever revenue model they are devising with this SaaS model offering access to LLM databases to corporations, programmers as a service. And I believe that this addition to their revenue model is actually a viable source. Now, we know that LLMs are open source. However, the ability to directly call API created functions and use a common database to do this alleviates the need to store all the data yourself. So it's a very viable option for a revenue model. That's my opinion. And I know you want to call me Sam. Go ahead. I know you can. Just go ahead and call me. This is absolutely an achievable revenue model for your leadership team to consider outside of just offering the perhaps internally built chat GPT features, so you could virtually retire your other bots. I'm kidding, just kidding. But seriously, this is a viable source of revenue for OpenAI to look into, and I believe it will help in terms of taxing the data centers with overloading these grids. So these infrastructure projects are in place, and I believe that it is going to support growth in the AI space, and it will support these application built features and require less of a taxing on the grid. So it's a solution for both. Hey, it's my 2 cents. And it makes it a little bit more affordable because if you are a smaller software development company or an AI startup and you're looking to integrate features into your business, or if you are looking to build features that require access to these LLM models, that process is very, data intensive. It's a data intensive process. And in order to do that in a much more affordable manner, this is something that OpenAI or any of these GPT companies offer that to companies at a much more affordable price point. All right, if you remember the Web3 series, we talked a lot about smart contracts and having the ability to put the smart contracts on blockchain. And one of the things I was lamenting about and had suggested was having a way to put smart contracts on blockchain so you didn't have to know the programming languages yourself. And I talked to Mr. Morale about that. Then I found a white paper from Circle in late 2024 where Circle was looking into providing a way to automate the smart contract creation process. Well, let me give you an update on that. Really, it's an automated process by which the details of the smart contract are put on chain for you. All right, here's an update with Circle's new contracts portion. They have successfully deployed a new service to customize, test, and launch smart contracts without the need to learn blockchain programming languages like Solidity. The Circle contract function will allow you to view, deploy, interact, and monitor smart contracts in one place. There are even event notifications of smart contract events so that you can manage the entire smart contracts lifecycle. There are several smart contract features that can be integrated into your apps, from generating and embedding code snippets from DeFi contracts into your applications and enabling cross-brand collaborations by creating tokens to represent currencies, loyalty point programs, real estate, and even more. With these smart contracts, it's kind of cool because you don't have to know the programming, as I mentioned before, and it allows you to be able to use these templates. Circle has these templates that you can use to put these smart contracts on chain. So they have similar or common templates that are curated and they're already security audited. You can customize them and deploy your own tokens. You can do this in a rapid sort of development process, and it's easier to just put it on chain, and then all of your transactions are trackable there. Of course, we mentioned it's secure, and then it's going to send you notifications when any event happens on chain, where you can go and monitor and check what's going on with your smart contract. Because remember, it's all automated through the code with these smart contracts. I like the idea of having these notifications because you're not having to actually write these pieces in a code or, be tracking them, but it'll give you key events when certain aspects of the contract are executed in the code, which I think that's pretty cool because you can create your own and deploy your own tokens with these templates that Circle has. So it'll allow you to be able to do that all on blockchain. All right, so speaking of Web3, there is a stablecoin bill that would create a regulatory framework for the US dollar pegged cryptocurrency. That legislation is called the Genius Act, and it's failed to pass the US Senate. It stalled and is facing pushback because of those expressing caution at the quote unquote influence of money in Washington, D.C., which is delaying consensus to pass such a bill. And the Web3 series, I built a quick walkthrough of how to initialize a cryptocurrency account with the one-to-one US dollar pegged stablecoin. However, remember, I also indicated that there is not yet an official CBDC, which is Central Bank of Digital Currency. Yet the FDIC, Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, affirms that supervised institutions may engage in permissible activities involving emerging technologies such as crypto assets and digital assets, provided that they adequately manage the risk. So remember from the Web3 series that stable coins are a one-to-one to the US dollar, and I deem those to be the most safest way to enter into the crypto market if you were interested in using those mediums and to test and see what cryptocurrency was all about. But they are actually formalizing the legislation as a part of the Genius Act. So we'll keep up to date on that and see what's going on and how those in Washington are progressing with this legislation for cryptocurrency and how it's going to impact Web3. This legislation would create new rules for digital assets. The DeFi and fintech industries are obviously on board with moving forward, and it seems likely that a bill will pass. Cryptocurrency and stablecoins are still silently progressing in the background as a foundation for Web3. Not many people are talking about it, and I believe that leaders at the executive level perhaps need a good grasp on how these advanced technologies work, the key concepts of blockchain with crypto and how the integration of new proposed legislation is going to impact these sectors. Perhaps even restructuring and allocating top-tier tech talent for these efforts is going to help effectively manage this. With the mass adoption of AI and the efficiencies gained, perhaps restructuring talent towards fintech and DeFi could help understanding how the emerging technologies with blockchain are going to ultimately impact industries and sectors and help realign resources going forward to bring awareness to how this is shifting banking and other aspects of, the finance industry. I still think these are key components of Web3, and it's progressing, but not many people are talking about it. So let me know your thoughts. All right, that is the show for today. Thank you for joining Curry Girl Tech Talk. I am Crystal Curry. Take care.